Good evening, everyone. This is Debbie Wetzler, and I'm doing an informal training tonight. And tonight I'm going to go over some of the basic competencies at each level, and then I might be answering some compensation plan questions. So I'm going to get started by sharing a screen here. And if anybody has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and mute people. Yes?
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to mute everybody, and then if anybody has any questions, just unmute yourself, and then you can get in and ask a question. And I'm going to share my screen and start with the PowerPoint here. And again, this just talks about the different ranks and stuff, and what you need to know at each rank, basically, to keep moving quickly and easily up till the very peak, if that's where you want to go. Of course, everybody has different goals, and that's the first thing I try to find out from people is kind of, and it really kind of is determined by how much you'd like extra coming in per month. So you might start with $500 a month extra. Well, that would be a director $300 or $700, something like that. Bronze usually makes about $2,000 extra a month. Golds usually make about $5,000 extra a month. Platinum's about $10,000, and then you go to the diamond, and you get into the 100,000 mark area. So it depends. The rank really just depends on you and what your needs are and where you would like to be and how much extra money. And it can always increase, of course. But if you just want to pay for an extra car payment, that might be $500, and again, that might be director $300 or $700 on a consistent basis. Basically, that's every single week being paid as that. If you want to pay for a college, you might want to make at least bronze or silver or gold executive, something like that, so you can pay for your child's college. Just whatever your goals are, because this is all about you. It's not about what we want. So set your own goals, and then again, they can always change or increase. And so I'm just going to do this way instead of making it a full screen. Well, I guess I could make it a full screen. So as an associate, that just means that you have signed up, basically. What you need to learn as an associate is to learn where your tools are. So there's a couple of different access areas for that. Of course, Amazing Molecules and Amazing Molecules Training are two very good places that are simple, easy to use, very quick, and I would suggest going there for a lot of your training. There is also Jeannie, which is very good, and she has an extensive library of tools, and that is a very good resource, and I highly encourage people to use it. It's free to everybody to begin with, where you can use 10 associates. You can put 10 associates' names, or not associates, 10 prospects' names in there, and they will send information to 10, and you'll be able to tell when they've opened the email, and you'll be able to tell how far of the video they went through and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot in the library, basically. So the first place I would start is Amazing Molecules and Amazing Molecules Training. Get a little bit comfortable. Come on these phone calls and ask me questions, or call me, depending on your schedule, and then go on to Jeannie. So take some time and do that. As you saw, the trainings for the compensation plan are 10 minutes, 11 minutes. You can do that. Usually you could do probably the whole thing in an evening. So that's where you're learning about your tools, what you want to send people. When we got in, we literally had one video that we sent everybody, and that was Alan Noble's Redox Breakthrough. I still use that most all the time. I do send the shorter versions of them, redoxlife.com or .net, because they're shorter and people will tend to watch them faster. But that's what I use. I just keep it simple. Then as they get into, if it's an athlete, you could send them some of the athletes' videos and stuff like that, but get them interested first. So they're looking for the information to come. Otherwise, they won't care, and you'll send them a whole bunch of things, and they'll be, oh, that's too much to look at. Okay? The business coach is Jeannie. That's what I was just talking about. Become familiar with her. definitely go in. She's got all kinds of trainings on it. Just when you first get in, just hit the training button and she'll start teaching you how to use her. The virtual office. I've gone over several of those, and I've filmed them and videoed them, and they're on my Facebook team Facebook page, which is called Debbie's Diamond Club. And you can go there and see some of the recordings. I've gone into the virtual office several times and taught you about some of the different reports and things. Make sure you know what your personal website is. You can use your username, so it may be orlandodarden.teamasia.com, or you could use if that's his name that he picked, or you can use your distributor number. So mine would be 102-231-4344.teamasia.com. So you can always get to one of your distributors in your organization by just using their numbers. You don't even need to know what their username is. Plug in and stay plugged in. Yes?
And Debbie, I just wanted to make a comment for the people on this webinar. When you talk about redoxlife.com, that also brings in the compensation piece. Like if someone wants to be a business builder, but then the redoxlife.net, that's just product. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you've got somebody really sick, just send them the redoxlife.net. Otherwise, I always make sure that they do know that there's a business related, because you just never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Right. As I always say, nobody knew I was broke because I didn't tell anybody. When you're new, especially, but I mean, I would say all the time, stay plugged in. And that means getting on the charge up calls as often as you can. They're at 11 o'clock Eastern, which is not a good time, but they're recorded always. So you can always go and listen to the recorded. If you do nothing else, go in and listen to the first 5 minutes so that you can hear the testimonials and all the different issues that these redox molecules have helped people with. That is how you're going to stay excited and hot, basically, and moving forward in ASEA, because you'll have ASEA constantly on your mind, which is what you want. So when you're talking to people, it will naturally come up. We have weekly calls. We have our team phone calls. David and I do weekly presentations that you can plug your new people into. Don't just come and sit on it yourself, unless you need to learn still. Bring new people and let them see it. And then there's monthly calls, like the In Touch call that ASEA does. These are all Zoom, so make sure that your new people, if you're speaking to new people, or make sure that you have downloaded Zoom, because ASEA uses Zoom all the time. And then, of course, we have special calls and webinars and meetings and all kinds of things. And we usually, here in the East Coast, we usually have 3 to 4 bigger meetings a year. In January, we count the Envision as a big meeting, so we're all going to go to that, basically. Here's what everybody says: if you talk to 2 new people a day, even if they don't not interested or something like that, you'll always have people in play, though, because a lot of people will be interested. So even just, if you're brand new, go out and just talk to 2 people a day. You don't even have to bring up ASEA to begin with, but that makes you get into that habit, and the habits are what you base your actions on, and the actions are what helps you get to the ranks and helps you get to the lifestyle that you'd like to have, basically. So go out and talk to 2 new people every day. I did that when I first started. Every single day I was out, and it did work, basically. You should be communicating. If you're brand new, you should be communicating with your sponsor if they're active, or you go up until somebody's active every single day, because you should be asking questions and making phone calls and introducing this to new people constantly. And trust me, I called Cindy every day and sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. Have your daily method of operation. If you want to get up and meditate and exercise and go to work, and come home, and you give yourself 30 to 40 to an hour or whatever to do ASEA, make sure that you kind of stick with that routine until you get to where you want to be, basically. But write that down and have that. Know what you are meant to do. I've been slipping on that a little bit recently, and I need to get back to it as far as exercise and stuff. Reach out to your upline and to your upline and reach your upline leader, whoever that is. Again, if your sponsor's not very active, just keep going up until somebody is active. And learn what is needed to be a director and a director 300. That's your next 2 steps. Always attend your local weekly, monthly, and quarterly events and become a director in your first 14 days, which is what Orlando and I were just talking about. It gives you a fast-tracked $50 extra bonus, which helps pay for half a case of ASEA. So congratulations and welcome to the ASEA community as an associate. Now, to get to director, which is your next step, you're going to sign up 2 people. One is going to go on your left side and one is going to go on your right side. And they have to come in with 100 points at least of PV, that's personal volume. And 100 points is equivalent to 1 case of something, ASEA, Renew 28, the skincare system, or a couple of the, it's usually all 3 of the vitamin. So whatever they are interested in, basically. And make sure, especially if you're doing a fast start bonus, that they've signed up with AutoShip. They can always cancel it before it comes. But for you to get, that measurement of getting associated in, they have to be on AutoShip for you to count them in your fast start bonus. So now you start understanding a little bit about the compensation. And again, by going to Amazing Molecules Training is the best place, and watching those 4 videos I showed you. That will teach you about the retail bonus, the preferred customer bonus, the fast start bonus, the director bonus, and the team commissions. It will go over all of those things. You're meant to understand what those mean now. Exactly.
I'm Debbie.
Yes.
Hi, sorry, can I ask a real quick question here?
Sure.
Is this presentation that you're showing now, is that something that's available to us somewhere in all these tools that we have?
No, I think I made this up, but I'm welcome. I'm happy to share it. It's a PowerPoint.
No, it's what I like. I'm trying to debate whether I need to take notes or whether this is something I can find and just refer to. You
can do it either way. I can send you the PowerPoint. It's a PowerPoint. And I've taught it before at a big event, basically.
Okay. Well, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Debbie, I would be interesting on that one too.
All right. Well, I always send it out. If somebody asks for it, anybody who's on the line, I send it to.
Thank you.
All the new associates. Get connected with your success line. And that, again, is, like if Cindy Buck wasn't active right now, I'd be connected to Tammy Gates. And if Tammy wasn't active, I'd be connected to Denny. I'd be finding somebody who would help me with making my phone calls and getting me started, basically. And you're going to be contacting, inviting, presenting, and following up daily until you become a diamond, until you become your goal. I'll put it that way. So that is the most important part you can do. Even if you don't learn anything about the compensation plan, which I didn't do, I just started contacting people because I knew if I was going to save my home that I needed to contact people and get them finding out about ASEA, plus besides the fact that I'd learned what this was and I knew it was going to help everybody, basically. So that's your most important thing. That should be in red and with fireworks coming out of it. If you do 1 person every day, you'll be at the rank you want to be in no time. If you postpone it and take time off for holidays and do this or do that, it'll take a while. The other thing I can tell you is that it's very exciting to get a lot of people in to begin with, kind of go into different bursts, because then you've got a team and you can start them all out and they've got a friendly competition. But if you're dragging 1 person in at a time, it's going to go really slowly, very slowly.
And
so,
maybe,
yes.
Sorry, it's not it's not that difficult to have maybe 10 people at the beginning because we are not confident with it. We don't know all the tools on our fingers, so maybe it's difficult to to have to deal with a lot of people. I mean, for example, 10 or 20 when we just start.
It's not difficult because you're going to rely on your upline, definitely, which is what I did all the time. I got many people in to begin with. Within the first month, I had several people. And I didn't, you know, I always told them to go to Amazing Molecules training. And some people will do it and some people don't. And I told them to get back to me when they did. And they did. And then I kept asking the other people, is this something you want? Because if it's something you want, you need to go learn. And then I would get them into all the other trainings, which Tammy and I used to put on, and you know, they used to do all kinds of trainings, and they still do. That's what I'm saying. So you're going to rely on, you know, we've already got the system set up. Amazing Molecules is a great place to start, and then your Genie can help people. And you don't have to really do much with them to begin with. But I will tell you, I always sit down with them and find out what their why is and start helping them make a list. It gets them over the fear of calling people. And you can sit and call with them. But yes, I would get this has been proven over and over and over. If you'll get several people in all at the same time, there's a real excitement there. And it's kind of a start of a small team. And then as they get trained and they can go off and start doing things more on their own, then you can do another burst and get more people in. That is probably the fastest way to get anywhere.
Okay, because I was afraid tomorrow with Sylvie, I will have 5 people, so I don't know if I will be able to.
No, that's fine. Sylvie can handle it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And if she needs help, she can call David or me or anybody, but that's what we're all here as a team to do, is just to help you get all their questions answered, get anybody interested in all that kind of stuff. We're here to help you. Don't ever be worried about being overwhelmed. That's what we do. So that, of course. So like I said, you know, if you want to go places fast, invite as many people as you can, and get as many people as you can in to begin with. Register and attend the annual convention. If you're serious about this, you have to be at the convention. And make it a point that you want to be consistently paid out as a director, which means you've got an active person on your left and an active person on your right, and you'll consistently be paid out as a director. At this point, you might want to get some business cards. They're very cheap at Vistaprint or someplace like that, but they're very nice. I don't usually have too many brochures with me personally. I usually send everything via email. That's up to you. But I always make sure now that we have them, that I have the samples of Renew 28, so you can pass them out, because that's your fastest way to get people interested in this. Be a public user of ASEA products. If you spray your face, people will always ask you what you're doing. What are you using? Or if you rub the Renew 28 on, they'll want to know what that is. Now you've learned how to become the next 2 ranks, Director 300 and Director 700. And set your Director 300 date. The Director 300 means you've got, and it can be just one person. You have not, it depends really on what their auto ship's like. But if one person had 3 cases coming to them every month, you'd be a Director 300 with that person. But they put 3 people there, so it's easier to understand. So 3 people with a case each gives you Director 300 in a week. And so you have to have, and that's the first time you're actually paid team commissions, when you get to Director 300. And so they hold your money until you get to Director 300. So it might take you 3 months, but if you've got a person on your left and a person on your right, in 3 months you'll be a Director 300. Now you should master your story, and your story should be no more than 45 seconds long. Do not put in a lot of extra details. Don't bore your people, because if you keep saying, well, it was Tuesday, and you know, they don't care if it was Tuesday or Monday or Sunday. Just get to your story. What was your life like before ASEA, and then what happened after you found ASEA? You're always going to be contacting, inviting, presenting, and following up regularly, daily. monitor your organization. You do that by going to your dashboard in your back office. Now, I go there several times a day. Most leaders do, but make sure that you go there at least once a day if you're doing this as a business. You need to, and it may be slow to begin with, definitely, but my numbers change all the time. The larger your organization gets, the more your numbers change. So go there and make yourself knowledgeable about the dashboard. It tells you how many people are on your left side and right side, tells you what your volumes is on your left and right side. It will tell you what your one leg will always be ahead of the other usually. So you'll have carryover volume on one leg at least. Meaning if you're paid out at 5,000 on your left and 6,000 on your right, that extra 1,000 points will roll over to the next week. That's called carryover. And you'll start the next week with 1,000 points on the right side. So make sure you're monitoring your numbers and how many people you've got in and how many people, you know, and who's been signing up, and all that is on your dashboard. It's like looking at the dashboard of your car and seeing where you are and how fast you're going and what your gas look like. Now you should start introducing new team members to your upline. So as you get new members in, especially if they're business builders, make sure that you introduce them to your upline. You can do this via phone and or text, or you can do it via email and just send it out. Sometimes I'm so busy, you know, if I signed up Orlando, I'd say, here, Tammy, Chuck, Denny, the Bucks, Alan Noble, all that kind of stuff. Meet Orlando. He's going to go to Diamond, and, you know, you need to meet him. And they would all get back to him and say, welcome, you know, we can't wait to meet you in person, da, 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 da. So make sure you're introducing them. It makes people feel special, and the team members will get to know who they are. Make it a point to be consistently paid out as a Director 300 every single week. It helps you make money, and it helps your upline because they're counting on Director 300s also. So you're helping two people. Partner with local executive leaders to help and support the meetings. So now you can start becoming a little bit involved, and bring guests. Learn how to become a Director 700 and Bronze, and set your 700 date. Congratulations on being a Director 300. And you'll get a nice pin in the mail along with their certificate. And a Director 700 is exactly like Director 300, except now you've got 700 points on one side and 700 on the other. It means your team's growing, and you get those points in 1 week's time. And your team commissions start going up because of that. You're always going to be doing this, like I said, every single day you should be doing, contacting, inviting, and following up, and sponsoring regularly. Make sure you are doing three-way phone calls. I cannot emphasize that enough. The people who are not successful do not do three-way phone calls. Find somebody that is open. I mean, you can book them for a half an hour. That's what I used to do with Cindy Buck. You can schedule phone calls and see who's available. You can do it in so many different ways. You can just sit there and call people with people, you know, just sit and call and see who you can get. Your upline will probably have time for that. Bring guests and team members to your local and national events. Develop relationships. Now they're starting to know who you are because you're going up in rank. And leverage your virtual office reports. And again, I've done a lot of training on all these different things. The reports in your back office are amazing, and they tell you right where you are in your business, and they can show you all kinds of things, and I use them all the time. I'm always looking up volume totals and seeing how much somebody has, or what they've been paid at, or, you know, when was their last auto ship, or something like that. Consistently be paid as a Director 700. Again, now you're getting into at least $500 a month as a Director 700 if you're paid that way every single week. Attend the Envision Conference and the annual convention, and now learn how to be a Bronze and a Silver executive. And set your date. And congratulations on Director 700. Bronze is your first leadership level because now you've got people in your organization who have stepped up and say, I want to do this with you. And so to become a bronze, you'll need 2 Director 300 yourself underneath you now. So you've got 2 people that have stepped up at least. And with you and your team, you have gotten to 2,000 points on your left and 2,000 points on your right with 2 Director 300s. And now to be active and to be paid as a bronze, you will need 200 personal volume. Before this, you've only needed to order 1 case to be active. But as you get to the executive levels, you're going to need to order 2 cases or order your 1 case and have 2 preferred customers. A preferred customer will give you 50 personal volume points. So 2 of them will give you 100. So if you order 1 case and you have 2 preferred customers, that gives you 200 PV every month, which is what you need. This pays around $2,000 a month. It varies per year basically, but I can bet you this is going to go up because last year it was $2,100, and we're doing a lot more business this year and into next year. Oh, I don't know where. I guess it just goes right to silver. So silver, from here on out until you get to the diamond levels, you're adding a Director 300 leg, and you're adding personal volume, or personal group volume, I should say. So for silver, you need 3,000 on your left and 3,000 on your right with 3 Director 300 legs now. And an average silver makes about 3,000 extra a month. So again, now you've had 3 people that have stepped up and say, I want to do this with you. So for your bronze and silver competencies, again, this is, ad nauseum here. Contact, invite, follow up, and sponsor regularly. Again, I'm telling you, if you contacted 1 new person a day, you'd be so much further ahead than anybody else in ASEA. I don't think anybody does it every day. And they should be, the leaders have. Monitor your organization through your dashboard and the Director 300 report. Now you're going to have to know how to use the Director 300 report so you can find where your Director 300s are or who's close to Director 300. So you could call them and say, you're only 100 points away from Director 300. Would you like to be a Director 300 this week? Most people will say yes. And then you can go to work helping them get that extra 100 points in by calling people, by signing somebody else up, by seeing if anybody needs extra cases or extra product, whatever it is. Become a qualified executive mentor and a 3-way call expert. Now, at this point, you should have had so many 3-way phone calls that you know how to do one. Every time you do a 3-way phone call, you're learning because your sponsor or whoever you're using as a 3-way is meeting objections, they're answering questions, and they're overcoming objections so that people will understand what this is and then hopefully want to use the product. So I listen to Cindy over and over and over. I can't even imagine how many phone calls I listened to her on a 3-way do before I started doing my own. And I learned every single time I was on the phone with her. She had something new to say. Participate in and host meetings and events yourself. Now you can start doing in-homes yourself, or you could have it at a church hall. They're usually free, or you can go to a coffee shop and have them in coffee shops, wherever you would like to go, but you should be hosting them for you and your people at this point so that they have a place to bring their people as they're new and starting off. Begin developing and fostering a team with consistent personal and public recognition. It's always wonderful to be recognized, and that's why it's been making me angry that the rank advancement report has not been working, but because every week I easily send out a congratulatory email at least, and I do try to call people and congratulate them. So when that's not working, it's not good for me. But make sure you are congratulating your own team members on signing up and becoming a Director 300 and 700 and all that stuff. Be involved and model social media skills. So social media is where it's at right now, and there's so many companies that are going sky high, and we're working with corporate to help change ours and bring ours into this century because we feel they're a little bit behind on that. But anyway, we are lucky we have Denny, that she has the time to sit on social media and do a lot of stuff, because she's dragging us into social media, and it's really helping to increase our numbers. Just by getting somebody hooked into the See a Healthy Self page is extraordinary. Now there's 85,000 people on there. The social proof, when they go on there and they see 85,000 people, they're like, holy cow. And then they start looking at some of those testimonials and some of the before and after shots. They'll call you right back and say, how do I get this product? It's that easy sometimes. If you want to be paid out, making those numbers, you're going to have to be paid at bronze or silver every single week. So every single week, you're going to need 2,000 points. So that takes some work. But once you get there and you're solid, you're going to be making $2,000 and $3,000 a month. Now, nobody's going to sneeze at that. And I'm sure everybody here could use that. Again, you're always going to be attending the Envision Base Camp now and annual convention. Base Camp has kind of changed. It's now the Ascent Adventure. So bronzes and silvers are open to winning and earning that, or they could be invited to it and pay their own way. It just depends on what you'd like. Learn how to become a gold and platinum and set your goal date. So we just keep going up. Gold is now 5,000 on both sides and 4 Director 300 legs. Now you're earning about 5,500 a month. Platinum is 10,000 on both sides and 5 Director 300 legs. And platinums make around 10,000 a month, I would say, at this point. So you're still doing this, depending on your goal. If this is your goal, if that's what you wanted to be, gold or platinum, you don't have to contact and invite and follow up every day anymore. But if your goal is to be diamond, you're going to continue to do that. Now you're going to be conducting live local group presentations. So you might be the one up there speaking or leading the coffee shop, which is easier a lot of times. But you're now considered a leader, and your group is going to look to you to lead and to host things and to put things together so that other people can come to them. Host weekly team calls. So David and I still do that for people, but you can break off now. If you're a platinum, especially, you're going to have a larger organization. You could have your own team phone calls every single week, separate from me and David, or you can just break off and have your own. And you might be called upon, if you'd like to do one of the charge-up calls here and now. We like to make sure that somebody's at least a bronze to be on those and to host them. And it depends on if that's something you'd like to do. The triples and above all take a month. My month is August. So I really try to reach out if there's somebody new. Like if Roxanne goes bronze by August, then I would reach out and say, would you like to host a charge-up call? I can do it earlier, but that's my month to fill in everybody with my team. So I would be happy to do that. But you do have to be a bronze to be at least. Become an event promoter. Every time there's an event, we're promoting the next event. So at this event that we just had in Germantown, we were promoting the Envision conference. And Envision, and right after that, we're going to be promoting our next one, because David and I are putting down dates tomorrow when I go to his house. So our next one will probably be April 20th or so, but we're going to figure that out tomorrow. So we'll be promoting the next event. Bring team members to your national event. Eric Worre has got it down pat, basically, and this is pretty true. The first time I brought 100 people to the convention, I made $100,000 that year. You can count on anybody that you bring to the convention to earn you about $1,000. So if you bring 50, you'll be making 50,000. So as many people as you can get there, when they see that big picture, I can tell you what turned me around completely was when I flew to the launch of this product. That was my first convention, basically. I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't gone to that. There's something that happens at those, and it's magical, and they really get it. And that's what happened for my daughter also. Begin developing your team leaders. Now you're going to have leaders stepping up, and you're going to give them parts, and you're going to ask them to speak, and they're going to start developing them and helping them to become leaders, because you don't want to babysit your whole life. You want to have leaders who go out on their own and take over and do and run their own teams, basically. That's how you replicate. Be proficient now in your virtual office and know all the different reports and how to use them and what to use them for. They're invaluable because you need to know some of this stuff. Your replicated website and the compensation plan. You should know how to tell anybody about it at this point, even details, which most people don't want to begin with. Be consistently paid as a gold and platinum if you want to be making those amounts that we talked about. Attend the Envision, the Ascent Adventure, and the annual convention. Learn how to become a diamond and a double diamond, and set your diamond if that's, again, what you want to be. I will just briefly go into diamond, I guess. Diamond and double and triple are all very kind of similar. A diamond executive, you have to have 15,000 personal group volume 2 weeks in a row. So it's an average. So if you did 13,000 the first week, you'd need to have 17,000 the next week to be a diamond. You need 6 Director 300 legs, and of course you need the 200 PV. Diamonds earn about that much, and that is per month. Double diamond, again, these are all averages because you have to do them weeks in a row, the same as ambassadors. You have to do ambassador 4 weeks in a row. To become a double diamond, you need 3 weeks average of 20,000 personal volume a week and 7 Director 300 legs. And they earn about that per month. And then triple diamond, you need 25,000 of personal volume 3 weeks in a row with 7 Director 300 legs. And triple diamonds earn around 57,000 a month. So I'm not going to go any further, but we're just developing. We put together events. We do a lot of three-way phone calls. We travel a lot of times to go to our different teams in different areas. And we have kind of, we put down our rhythm of business, kind of like Terry Latham does. So every 3 months, I want to be in North Carolina. Every 3 months, I want to be in wherever I've got teams, basically, so that we have a big event with me coming and me staying there and helping people. Thank heavens for Zoom, because I feel like I can be a lot of different places all at the same time with Zoom. Excuse me. And now, instead of doing things on a daily basis, because we don't always have time for that, we're going to do bursts of personal sponsoring. Again, if you're not just bringing in one person at a time, which can be lonely for that person, I can tell you that, unless you're introducing them and stuff. If you get 2 or 3 people in at the same time, it's more fun. You can help them all advance at the same time, and that's what starts happening, basically. So you go on a kind of a burst of personal sponsoring and take some time to do that, and then come back to your obligations, basically. Build and deliver team promotions and campaigns. Develop and coordinate weekly, monthly, and quarterly events. Always lead from the front. And congratulations on being diamond, double, and triple. So I'm just going to end it there because ambassador gets to be very tricky. Do I have any questions on any of this stuff?
Debbie?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thanks again. This is great. I love this visual here. And just to emphasize again, I would, and I guess there be other people on the line who would love to have this presentation
Sure.
If anything, it's a great roadmap and it's a great visual, and they're just powerful to really kind of let you know where you're going and how to get there.
Right. And it's kind of like eating an elephant, take it one bite at a time. Whatever you
Exactly.
are now, find out what it takes to get to your next level, and then just concentrate on that.
Yeah.
And once you get to there, then go to the next.
Right.
Don't let it be overwhelming, because
Exactly.
some of these volumes sound like a lot, but as your team grows, it just naturally happens. You just naturally get there. And ASEA is not going anywhere, and it's growing and growing and growing, and more people are learning about redox, and that's thanks to social media. It's getting out there a lot faster. So know that people are going to want to take this. They see what it does. There's such powerful testimonials on ASEA Healthy Self and then redox experiences. Plug people into that, and even testimonials. I can be sitting with somebody, and if I've heard a very powerful testimonial that morning on the charge up call, on my phone, I've got the charge up call as a contact. I've got a lot of ASEA stuff as contacts. Make sure you put them in your phone so you're not always looking for the numbers. Just put ASEA Associate Support and put the number in. Then when you look that up, you can call it. You're going to be calling ASEA Associate Support a lot. But if you put the charge up call in, you can put the ASEA recorded charge up call in also. That is 712-432-1085. It's recorded for 24 hours. Then you hit the same code, 635-808-pound. And you can say, here, just listen to this. And you can hand the phone to your person. They can listen to that testimonial. And I'm telling you, I've had people's eyes like bug out. Really? Because it's somebody else talking. Somebody else is telling a story. So it's validating what you've just told them. So use the charge up call. It's an amazing tool, basically. You can even send them back. I mean, if they'll go, I like to be sitting in front of them and hand them the phone. Then I know it's happened. That's why I like to rub the Renew 28 on people myself, because then I know they're going to, if you hand them a tube, they may or may not take it home and use it. They'll probably go home and stick it on a shelf. And then they've never used it and they have no idea. And you'll call them back in a week. Did you use it? Did it work? Oh, no, I forgot. I stuck it on my shelf. Well, then it's a week old. I've had more results and I've had more people get so excited. Just recently when I was in North Carolina, I rubbed this man's feet with neuropathy. He started feeling his feet within 5 minutes. That's unheard of. He started wiggling his toes. He hadn't been able to move his toes. He was up dancing around in 5 minutes. That's very powerful. If I hadn't rubbed his feet, it wouldn't have happened. And he was doing it in front of everybody there. It was just an amazing thing. And then I did the same thing with a nurse who had neuropathy and burning on the sides of her feet. And literally, by the time I finished rubbing it in 3 times in 5 minutes, myself, all the burning was gone. You don't think she signed up that night and got product? Be active in this. Rub it on yourself, because then you know it's going to take place. If you hand them a tube, you never know if they're going to use it or not. So I always say, just be very proactive. If you're sitting with them, get them on the phone. You can call somebody. If I'm available, I'll always pick my phone up if I see one of you guys calling. Always. And then we can do a three-way right then. If you don't get me, just say, oh, she must be busy. We're really busy these days. And then call Cindy Buck or call Tammy Gates or call whoever is in your upline. And make sure you have them in your phone so that you can look and go, there's Cindy, click, and you're calling her. If you haven't met her yet, you can call me. I can either introduce you or you can call her yourself. We've given you a WinFrastructure. It's a lot of paperwork, but at least go look up your upline, and all their contact information is right there. Their emails, their phone numbers and stuff. They are so impressed if somebody calls them and say, I'm Roxanne 7 and I'm going to be your next diamond. So I wanted to introduce myself. They're going to be, okay, Roxanne, tell me a little bit about yourself. They'd be so excited to hear you. So don't be afraid, because that's what you're doing. You are introducing yourself to the world with ASEA, basically. And that's, you're leaving a gift, you're leaving a legacy, you're changing the world, basically. the medical field will never be the same once we get finished with it. We've just seen this do so many things for people. I'm sorry, so I've rambled on. Any other questions? Because it's the top of the hour. I can't believe it's already 9 o'clock. But Lydia, you're in California, so you're only at 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I have to follow, the webinar with for animals.
Oh yeah, the animal
Yeah.
webinar is on. Dr. Marty Morin's on.
Mm.
So, all right, I will let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming.